This is a letter from the Christ, Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall, for His Holiness Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, renamed Petros Romanus or Peter II of Rome. Your Holiness, the above letter has been uploaded to the internet and hand-delivered to Francis. What I did not include was a solar eclipse that occurred in 1990. Briefly, the British set lunation zero on December 18, 1922 at 12:20 Greenwich Mean Time. Locating the position of the moon at that moment placed it east of London at a distance to the ancient city of On, pronounced On. This was a distance of 621 miles to the moon position on the Earth's surface. The city's latitude and longitude difficult to find in modern databases of cartography, therefore a red flag as to why. As it turned out, that number 621 is not their doing. It is angelic, as the moon's age per month is measured to the second. Therefore, it inadvertently points their satanic connection to the god of the underworld, known in Freemasonry as Jubalon. The number 621 is Essene, the wife of Joseph, she the daughter of the high priest of the underworld, centered in On. In the pyramid structure there are 204 masonry layers, and as the entire structure is angelic built, the altar to the Lord in the midst of Egypt, then the baseline is the date of reckoning, December 18, 1922. 204 in Hebrew concordance is On. The 204th layer is where the rejected capstone is to sit, but because time and the Jews have polluted sacred writings and all religion being John 8:44, then modern man no longer believes in miracles, even falling for the ploy that Jesus did not exist at all. So when the stone the builders rejected, according to Psalms 118:22, is reborn to the earth, then the world not only has no idea the Jews did and have based all of modern Antichrist monopoly in keeping the event of the second coming from the masses. Now the longitude of the 1990 July 22nd total eclipse is 6922 west, and 6922 is Saint, found 3 times in Daniel 8:13, as well as a red flag word, certain. Quoting, "Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden under foot?" Hebrew Dictionary 6922, Aramaic Kaddish, corresponding to 6918, Holy One, Saint. In Canada in 1990, I had typed out every verse with the word certain, totaling 194 verses. As feet, this is the height of the base of the pyramid above sea level, and we are back to December 18th, 1922. And 204 layers of masonry represents 204 solar eclipses. The last, November the 3rd, 2013. The summit platform where the rejected capstone will be placed. The layers stripped of 144,000 pure white saints, each averaging 7 ton of alabaster. The word certain in Daniel is the 8:13, is the 57th, and the 60th is Daniel 11:13. For the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches. December 11th, 2012 is lunation 1113. The English gematria is 1680, and drop the 0 we have 168, and that is the date of June the 17th, 2 BC, when our mother gave birth to me, when the sunrise to sunset was 855 minutes, the same as Sydney, January the 11th, 1944, and the moon rise 33 minutes later for both locations, sunrise to moonrise 888 minutes, Jesus in Greek. However, that verse is the 60th, represents the Old Testament, below ground, subject to the god of the underworld, Jubalon. 60 is time, minutes, hours. Therefore, the base level is aligned with the first certain in the New Testament. We start reading the first certain in Matthew 8:19. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest, has an English gematria of 887. The 1990 solar eclipse, then, is a layer of masonry and is the 153rd, therefore 60 certain equals Old Testament. So we take 153 less 60 and locate the 93rd, being April the 3rd, the date of the cross in 33 AD. The 93rd certain is found in Luke 10:25. And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? The Greek dictionary for the word 10:25, brephos, of uncertain, an infant, properly unborn, babe, young, child, infant. The question, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? Equals 433 in English gematria. And 433 is LOR, rarely shortened, LOR, probably prolonged, from 410, a deity or the deity, God. So God asked a question, and the answer is to become like a small child. Incidentally, 433 was my post office box number in Port Alberni in 1990. Now, what has happened thus far? The letter addressed to Francis as His Holiness, being my enemy's enemy, is my friend, offers him sainthood and a way out of his dilemma. The work of Kevin Annett has put the Vatican in jeopardy and Italy on notice that by sustaining recognition of it leaves Italy party to the international criminal laws violated by Francis by imposing a 2 years penalty on a priest or nun who makes public any wrongdoing of child molestation. In civilized countries, it is against the law to not make it known. What Francis has decreed as king violates basic human rights, and he will be the deciding factor on what to do with the perpetrators of child molestation, and therefore no wrongdoing will become public. Rather than becoming transparent, the Vatican has gone underground. The implication here is he must be trusted to deal with it and protect the Church from being sued. Cardinal Dolan has just moved a vast sum of money out of his jurisdiction in New York. Annett is basically mentally ill, but is dealing with the mentally ill. He was responsible for having the Belgian court finding the Queen, Prime Minister of Canada, a homosexual, and yourself guilty, being the responsible head of the Church. It issued a bench warrant and a sentence of 25 years. I asked Father Giuseppe if you were aware of it, and he said he did not think so. I moved the angels to have your case presented to the International Criminal Court in New York, and it overturned the Belgian court decision. Annett has now had Francis found guilty and a bench warrant issued for his arrest internationally, and the Vatican, a criminal organisation, guilty of criminal activity internationally by simply making it a crime to report the child molestations to local authorities in each nation. We have a new tool illegally, and that is copyright law. The Jews have now passed laws to prevent literature being used in YouTube, Facebook, etc. I am therefore in my legal right to demand all churches to stop mentioning the names Mary, Jesus, Christ, Lord, and so on